Have you ever met someone and just known? Not because of a checklist, not because of what your friends said or what society told you a good partner should look like, but because something inside you went quiet for the first time in a long time. Most people spend years, sometimes their whole lives, chasing chemistry, chasing excitement, chasing the version of love they saw in movies. And they miss the real thing completely, because the real thing doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it whispers. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 signs, real, tested, sometimes uncomfortable signs, that tell you a woman isn't just a good option. She's the one. Not the one who makes your heart race the fastest, the one who makes your life make sense. Some of these signs might surprise you. One of them, in particular, sign number 5, is the one almost nobody talks about, and it's usually the one that matters most. So stay with me until the end, because I promise you this is going to change the way you see the person sitting next to you right now, or the person you haven't met yet. Before we go further, if you've ever wondered whether you're with the right person, or if you're still searching and want to know what to actually look for, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel is where we talk about the truths nobody else says out loud. And if this intro already hit something in you, drop a like. It helps more people find this video, and honestly, more people need to hear this. All right, let's get into it. Sign 1. She makes you want to be better, without ever asking you to. The first sign is subtle, but it's powerful, and it's usually the first one people notice, even if they can't explain why. A woman who is right for you doesn't criticize you into changing. She doesn't nag. She doesn't compare you to other men. She doesn't try to fix you like you're a project. And yet, somehow, being around her makes you want to be a better version of yourself. You start waking up earlier. You start taking your goals more seriously. You start thinking twice before you say something careless, not out of fear, but because you respect her too much to be careless. This is not pressure. This is inspiration. And there's a massive difference between the two. Pressure comes from someone trying to mold you into what they want. Inspiration comes from someone believing in a version of you that you hadn't fully believed in yourself yet. When a woman sees your potential before you do and reflects it back to you, quietly, patiently, that's not an accident. That's rare. And it's a sign worth paying attention to. Ask yourself honestly, does she bring out your best self or your most defensive self? The answer tells you almost everything. Think about the people who have passed through your life. Some of them made you feel like you had to shrink, like your ambitions were too much, your emotions were inconvenient, your dreams needed to be smaller to fit into their comfort zone. And then maybe there was someone else. Someone who looked at your biggest, most nervous, most fragile dream, and instead of laughing, instead of doubting, she simply said, "I believe you can do that." That single sentence, said by the right person, can carry a man through years of hard work. That's not a small thing, that's fuel. Sign 2. She's consistent, even when it's inconvenient. Here's something most people overlook when they're falling for someone. Consistency is more valuable than intensity. Anyone can be affectionate on a good day. Anyone can say the right things during the honeymoon phase, when everything is new and exciting and easy. The real test isn't how she treats you when things are effortless, it's how she treats you when she's tired, stressed, busy, or going through something hard. A woman who is right for you shows up the same way on her worst days as she does on her best ones. She doesn't disappear when life gets difficult. She doesn't punish you with silence when she's upset. She communicates, even if it's hard. She doesn't treat you like a stranger the moment something inconveniences her. This kind of consistency is rare because it requires emotional maturity, and emotional maturity isn't something you can fake for very long. Eventually, the mask comes off and you see who someone really is underneath the performance. If what you see in her hardest moments is still someone who respects you, still someone who tries, that's not luck, that's character. Think about it this way. Chemistry can get 2 people through the first 3 months. It cannot get 2 people through the 15th argument about money, the sick relative, the layoff, the miscarriage, the move to a new city where neither of you knows anyone. Only character can do that. Only someone who has decided deep down that showing up matters more than feeling like showing up. That decision is invisible from the outside. You can't see it on a first date. You can't see it in a highlight reel of photos together. You only see it over time, through the ordinary, unglamorous days. Pay attention to those days. They tell you more than any grand gesture ever will. By the way, if you're recognizing someone specific while watching this, I want you to comment below and tell me which sign hit you the hardest so far. I read every single comment, and I promise you, you're not the only one thinking about someone right now. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because signs 4 and 5 are the ones that most relationships actually fail on, and I don't want you to miss them. Sign 3. She doesn't need you to complete her. She chooses you. This one is going to sound almost contradictory at first, so stick with me. There's an old romantic idea that the right person completes you, that you're two halves of a whole, incomplete without each other. It sounds beautiful. It's also, in most cases, a warning sign in disguise. A woman who needs you to feel whole will eventually resent you for the weight of that need. She'll be afraid to lose you, not because she loves you, but because she's afraid of being alone with herself. That fear creates clinginess, jealousy, control, not because she's a bad person, but because incomplete people cling to whoever is closest. The right woman is different. She has her own life, her own goals, her own sense of identity that existed long before you and would continue to exist even if you weren't in the picture. And she chooses you anyway, every single day, not because she needs to, because she wants to. That distinction between need and choice is everything. Need is fragile. It can turn into resentment, into desperation, into control. Choice is stable. Choice is chosen, again and again, freely. When a whole woman chooses you, freely, consistently, that's one of the strongest signs there is. You can usually tell the difference in small, almost invisible moments. A woman operating from need will panic at silence, a delayed text, a night out with friends, a moment where your attention isn't fully on her. A woman operating from wholeness can sit in that silence without spiraling, because her sense of self isn't outsourced to your behavior. She's not checking your phone, she's not testing you to see if you'll leave. She's simply living her life, fully, and inviting you into it, not clinging to you as if you're the only thing keeping her afloat. That kind of security is magnetic, precisely because it isn't performed for your benefit. It's just who she is. Sign 4. She handles conflict like a partner, not an opponent. Let's talk about something nobody wants to talk about: fighting. Every couple argues, every single one. The people who tell you they never fight are either lying or they're avoiding every real conversation that matters. Conflict isn't the problem. How you handle conflict, that's the real test. A woman who is right for you doesn't treat disagreements like a battle to win. She's not trying to prove you wrong, humiliate you, or bring up every mistake you've made in the past 3 years just to score a point. She fights for the relationship, not against you. This means she can say, "I was wrong," without it destroying her ego. It means she listens to understand, not just to respond. It means that even in the middle of an argument, there's an underlying sense of respect that never fully disappears, because deep down, you're both still on the same team. If every disagreement with someone leaves you feeling smaller, unheard, or like you're constantly walking on eggshells, that's not a sign of passion. That's a sign of incompatibility. But if, even after a hard conversation, you still feel like you're closer to her, not further away, pay attention to that. That's incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Quick pause. If this video is resonating with you, please take 2 seconds to like it. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to hear this exact message today. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the perfect time, because sign 5 is the one I get the most messages about, and it might completely change how you see your relationship. Sign 5. She loves the real you, not the highlight reel. Here it is, the sign almost nobody talks about, and honestly, the one that matters most. Everyone can love you at your best. When you're successful, funny, confident, put together, of course people are drawn to that version of you. That's not hard. Anyone can love the highlight reel. The real question is, does she love the version of you that isn't polished? The version that's anxious at 2 a.m.? The version that fails at something and feels embarrassed about it? The version that isn't performing, isn't impressing anyone, isn't trying to be anything other than exactly what he is in that moment? A woman who is right for you sees your flaws, clearly, honestly, and stays anyway. Not because she's settling, not because she doesn't notice, but because she understands that real love was never about finding someone perfect. It was about finding someone whose imperfections you can hold with compassion, and who holds yours the same way. This is the difference between being loved for your image and being loved for your soul. Image love is conditional. The moment the image cracks, so does the affection. Soul love survives the cracks. It survives the bad days, the mistakes, the moments you're not proud of. If you have someone who has seen you at your absolute lowest and chose to stay closer, not further, you need to understand how rare that actually is. Think about the last time you truly failed at something, lost a job, made a decision you regret, said something you wish you could take back. Think about how that person reacted. Did they use it against you later? Did their warmth suddenly cool off, like your value to them was tied to your performance? Or did they get closer, softer, more patient, treating that moment not as evidence against you, but as an invitation to show you what real support looks like? That reaction, in that specific moment, tells you almost everything about whether her love is conditional or unconditional. And unconditional love, real as it is one of the rarest things a human being can offer another. If you've made it this far, I want to say something directly to you. Most people watching a video like this are either deeply happy and just curious, or quietly unsure about where they stand with someone. Both are okay. There's no shame in searching for clarity. The fact that you're even asking these questions means you take love seriously, and that already puts you ahead of a lot of people who just drift through relationships without ever stopping to think. So take a breath. Whatever you're feeling right now, hope, doubt, recognition, even a little grief for something that didn't work out, let it be there. We're almost through all 7 signs, and the last 2 might be the ones that bring everything into focus. If this video is doing what I hope it's doing, do me a favor and like it right now before you forget. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is genuinely the moment to do it, because next week's video builds directly on everything we're covering today. Okay, let's keep going. Sign 6. She makes room for your dreams even when they don't include her directly. This sign is about something a lot of relationships quietly struggle with: ambition. A woman who is right for you doesn't feel threatened by your goals. She doesn't guilt you for working hard, chasing a dream, or investing time into becoming who you're meant to become, even when that pursuit doesn't directly involve her. She understands that a man with purpose is not a man who's drifting away from her. He's a man building something worth being proud of, and she wants to be part of that journey, not an obstacle to it. This doesn't mean she never needs your time or attention. Of course she does, and that balance matters too. But there's a difference between someone who wants partnership in your growth and someone who wants to compete with it. The right woman celebrates your wins like they're her own. She listens when you talk about your goals, even the ones she doesn't fully understand. She becomes your biggest supporter, not your biggest obstacle. And when you find someone who genuinely wants to see you win, hold on to that. It's more valuable than almost anything else in a relationship. Sign 7. Being with her feels like peace, not chaos. And finally, sign number 7, the quietest one, but maybe the most important of all. We've been conditioned, especially by movies and social media, to believe that love should feel like chaos. Passionate arguments, dramatic reunions, the anxiety of not knowing where you stand. We call this passion, but very often what we're actually describing is anxiety dressed up as romance. The truth is this: real love, lasting love, the kind that's actually right for you, it doesn't feel like chaos. It feels like peace. It feels like exhaling. It feels like coming home, even if home is just a conversation, a phone call, a quiet evening doing nothing together. It feels safe, not because nothing ever goes wrong, but because you trust that even when something does go wrong, you'll figure it out together, without it threatening the whole foundation. If being with someone constantly feels like walking on a tightrope, wondering where you stand, wondering if today is the day it falls apart, that's not passion. That's instability disguised as intensity. But if being with her feels like your nervous system finally gets to relax, that peace is one of the clearest signs there is. Chaos is easy to mistake for love. Peace is much harder to fake and far more valuable. There's a simple test you can run on yourself. Picture the person you're with or the person you're thinking about right now. Picture a random, ordinary Tuesday. Nothing special happening, no plans, just the two of you existing in the same space. Does that image make you feel calm? Does it feel like a place you'd want to return to again and again for the rest of your life? Or does even that quiet, ordinary picture carry a low hum of tension underneath it? Your body usually knows the answer before your mind is willing to admit it. Trust that. So, 7 signs. Let's bring them together for a second. She brings out your best self. She's consistent, not just intense. She chooses you rather than needing you. She fights for the relationship, not against you. She loves the real you, not the performance. She supports your dreams instead of competing with them. And being with her feels like peace, not chaos. None of these signs on their own guarantee a perfect relationship. There's no such thing as perfect. But together, they paint a picture of something real, something worth protecting, something worth choosing every single day, even when it's not easy. If this video helped you see your relationship or yourself a little more clearly, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. It really does make a difference for this channel. Second, subscribe because we talk about relationships, self-worth, and real love here every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. And third, tell me in the comments, which of these 7 signs hit you the hardest? I read every comment and I genuinely love to hear your story. And if you're watching this alone tonight, still searching, still wondering if a love like this is even possible for you, I want you to know it is. Not because I'm promising you a fairy tale, but because real love, the kind we've talked about today, isn't reserved for lucky people. It's built slowly, by 2 people who choose honesty over performance, peace over chaos, and each other over the idea of someone better that never actually shows up. Keep your standards, keep your patience. The right one is worth the wait. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.